who just decided to act like a king for once. It's not hard to act like a king. Anybody can. I mean, Spain had a mother drooled and had one nut that was acting like a king. It's not hard, I assure you. Welcome back to the Socialist Star YouTube channel. Appreciate you tuning in once again. And don't forget to go watch the previous videos and, I don't know, hit that subscribe button. Just hit it. It's right down there. THANKYOU. Thank you. Thank you. You can keep the video playing while you hit it. You likely have not full screen because my glorious face is in your presence. And as much as it entices you, going full screen might give you a boner.
No. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here.
So anyways, Cory Booker recently went on this long-standing marathon filibuster, which allowed him to break a record of the longest filibuster in U.S. congressional history. The previous one was held by, fun fact, from Thurman, and it was against the Civil Rights Act, which is kind of ironic or hilarious or whatever you want to say, because a black man took the record by serving in Congress, which is something a white man did not want him to do, and had the record before to ensure that he couldn't. Little ironic, I guess. Little bit of hope and optimism in these dark or shadowy times. Dear God, why can't this just be normal? But a lot of people have been giving him, you know, flowers on the action, and to a degree, I can give him some respect on the action. I mean, you know, ball guys don't win often, so they need whichever ones they can get. I want to make something very clear. That's not enough. That filibuster is not enough. It's just a way for the Dems, and I've listened to me here because I'm telling you this is what's gonna happen. This is just a way for the Dems, the mainstream ones, the standard Dems, not the Bernie Sanders, not even the AOCs, the Chuck Schumers, Elizabeth Warrens, and so forth and so on. This is a way for them to kind of just say that they're doing something to their constituent. In a way, that's true, but the truth level of it is very minuscule. I said on Instagram comment that, you know, this is nice. It's a good way to show some backbone, but what's next? And someone commented afterwards, absolutely, this does absolutely nothing. I was like pointing out to them, yeah, that's what I said, what's next?
I find it extremely difficult to predict what you will find acceptable.
That's the part. Where's the organizing with unions to prepare for strikes, or getting out on the campaign trail, even though it's not an election cycle for you, and not just in your own state, across the country? Similar to as Bernie Sanders and AOC have recently been doing, having these rallies all across the country, and you're going out and informing people and explaining to them and bearing the fire of people's anger. I mean, Republicans were doing town halls and letting themselves get gooned by fucking 70-year-old Social Security check receivers and veterans who are just tired of the bullshit. And Democrats have done any of that. They've just fucking rolled over. So no, I'm not happy that Booker did a 25-hour marathon. Am I optimistic, thinking that this might cause a change in the Democratic Party? How about no? The only thing I can give this is say, congrats, Cory. You spoke for 25 hours. Good stamina in the body. I don't know what the fuck you want me to say to this shit, because it's what there needs to be more. There needs to be more. I said in my previous video what Democrats need, what needs to replace the Democrats, or maybe just things that Democrats can literally just fucking take and do themselves. Okay, you claim you're the party of the working people, but when the working people are facing layoffs and oppression and socioeconomic uncertainty and high prices at the grocery stores, all you guys can do is just say, well, we can't let the government shut down because think of the chaos that would cause. It's like, what the fuck are we in now? We're in chaos now. We've been in chaos in this country ever since, let's be real, we've been in chaos in this country ever since COVID. I mean, it broke the fucking brains of so many people. And like the Cory Booker speech to me just seems like you just got your ass beat, right? And Cory Booker stands over you and he says,
"You got knocked the fuck out, man. Give me my goddamn money. The payback's a motherfucker, ain't it?"
And then after he says that, he says, "But it's alright, you took them blows, much respect." Cool. I just got my ass beat though, and you stood by watching instead of actually fighting. Like, appreciate you stating the good news, saying like, you know, I'll be alright, but like, what the fuck else? What else? What after this? What next? It's nothing. I want to be hopeful about it, but it's just Dems doing dim shit, grandstanding. It's just as stupid as fucking when they all knelt with the freaking African scarves. This is so stupid. Do these rallies like Bernie is doing. Tell people how this stuff is going to affect them. Tell them everything that's going to happen whenever Trump does something or Elon does something, because right now we're in a two consulship for some fucking reason. Tell people this stuff. You guys aren't doing that. You're just sitting up there going, well, there's nothing we can do. We don't have the majority. And it's just like, dude, this is the same reason why you motherfuckers lost any sort of power in the Congress in the first place. Because you always say, well, there's nothing we can do. We've got to be bipartisan on things and this and that. And it's like, no, you have to be, because you don't explain shit to people. You don't actually capture people's feelings. You're all a bunch of fucking Republicans in all but name.
We are getting aggravated. Yes, we are.
Like, do something. And to back up what I'm saying, so this article is by New York, The Intelligencer. What Democrats can learn from Bernie's cathartic rallies. The Democratic Party's biggest current star is an 83-year-old who has never technically belonged to it, which is like, they can't even take credit for what Bernie's doing, to be honest with you, because again, Bernie's really a socialist. Bernie Sanders might be a democratic socialist at this point in his old age, but he's still a socialist.
I'm too old for this shit.
Bernie Sanders continues to barnstorm across America, not just Vermont, America. That's a big thing that I think people need to realize, is quite often the reason why Democrats are hated in certain areas is because they never fucking go to them. They never give those people the time of day. Because, well, we don't have to talk to people living in a trailer because they're in a trailer. We just have to wait for a tornado to come around. I don't know why I've made Democrats a British rich person. But drawing tens of thousands of people at every destination, all of whom are desperate to combat Donald Trump, or at least hear from politicians who vocalize their theories. The resistance certainly is not a pervasive or culturally widespread as it was 8 years ago. The era of so-called hyperpolitics is mostly done. I disagree with that. We are currently experiencing hyperpolitics at its worst. But it's bubbling up where politicians are showing any kind of fight. Sanders plainly is, and Democrats of all ideological stripes seem appreciative of the Democratic Socialist senator from Vermont. Of late, AOC has joined him on the road, and there's renewed chatter that the 35-year-old Congress member could run for president in 2028. As crazy as this sounds, I think Democrats could genuinely put anybody up against Donald Trump and win. If he claims, as he's hypothesizing, he might run for a third term, or if they just do JD Vance and put Trump on the fucking ticket as vice president, I doubt it, because Trump would be like second fiddle and he wouldn't like that. I don't think he has enough gumption, enough humbleness to take the same position that Putin took when Medvedev, or whatever his name was the president of Russia, and he was the second, even though technically he ran the strings from, he controlled the strings from behind the scenes. Sanders, unlike the rest of the Democrats, has never struggled over formulating a coherent political message. You want to know why? Because the easiest message to spew out of your mouth is the message of the common person. It's the easiest message because you can't offend no one as long as you say it right. You can't piss anyone off other than the non-common person, which is the billionaires, and at the end of the day, who the fuck cares how they feel? They have billions upon billions of fucking dollars. I'm not saying they should be, like the moment you reach billionaire status, you should be put in a concentration camp, obviously, because that's just psychotic. But there is a certain point at which your billions and millions of dollars allows people to no longer act human. then, you know, there might be a need for some Chinese style, you disappear for a few months and then you reappear and you're not an asshole anymore. But like, he's saying the message to common people is so fucking easy. Like, yeah, Cory Booker got up and read all these letters and all this stuff and talked about we need to have moral culpability and moral actions like John Lewis. And it's like, okay, well, this is the first week, so I'll give it to you. But what next week? How are you following through? How are you getting people organized and unionized on the ground in the grassroots efforts similar to Bernie Sanders? He has beliefs and he acts on them, and he understands the outrage many ordinary Americans feel about Elon Musk, the world's richest man, laying waste to the federal bureaucracy. Fucker's not elected. That's my biggest issue with Elon.
One more thing.
It'd be different if, like, okay, he was on the ticket with fucking Trump and it's like, whatever. The fucker's not elected. He's in charge of a government department that technically does not exist, legally does not fucking exist, but has access to all this shit and everything.
This shit is not normal.
Hence the tour's Chris theme. Oligarchy. Sanders has railed against income inequality and the influence of the ultra wealthy on American life for at least half a century. His prominence now illustrates the power of a consistent, easily digestible message, and puts him in stark relief with the mainstream of his party, which conspicuously lacks one. Yeah, because Democrats can't formulate one, because if they formulate one, they go against the very same people that are putting money in Republicans' pockets and their pockets. So there is none. They're very fucking complacent. So they can't formulate one, which is, again, why I say the Cory Booker thing, people are hyping this bald motherfucker up, which, bald kings, much respect. This is not a bald king. This is a bald bitch who just decided to act like a king for once. It's not hard to act like a king. Anybody fucking can. I mean, Spain had a motherfucker that drooled and had one nut that was acting like a fucking king. It's not hard, I assure you. The overriding question is what comes next. Neither Sanders or the rest of the Democrats have a great answer. Next year's midterm elections should be favorable to them. Trump is increasingly unpopular. Americans are weary of Doge and a fearing recession, and it's easy to imagine the fragile GOP majority in the House disappearing altogether. The Senate races are much tougher, given the growing share of rural states that vote Republican, but there's some hope there. At least two Republican-held states, Maine and North Carolina, could be flippable. I'm tell you right now, North Carolina is probably going to flip.
It's definitely not a good time to be a Nazi.
I don't know about Maine, but North Carolina is probably going to flip. Okay, Tom Tillis was ass. It's just our politicians are ass. Especially the Republican ones. The Democrat ones, like I said, they do the standard fucking fare. You know, they're at least not gonna fucking pull the fire alarm. You know what I mean? They're gonna at least try and grab a fucking fire extinguisher and put half the fire out. But our Republican congressmen literally are fucking ass, so they might flip. Plus, the west of this state is still, you know, 6-7 months on from Helene, still trying to figure out how life goes forward. Yeah, North Carolina's probably gonna flip, but also I don't even know if we can, like, are we gonna be able to get to a midterm election with all the crazy shit that's going on? Trump's with all these tariffs and all this shit, and then they go fearing a recession. We're in a recession, okay? I'm sorry, we just are in a recession. Like, you could take $100 to Food Lion and come out with like 3 bags. That's a recession. I'm sorry. What the fuck? But for now, Democrats must wait. The rallies do offer catharsis, and it's hard for progressives to demand much more from Sanders, since he has accomplished so much for the American left over the last decade. But those looking to build durable power in a post-Sanders world must wonder where this is all heading. The organization Sanders founded to bolster progressives across America. Our revolution has had a minimal impact on the political scene. The left-wing group does little beyond doling out endorsements and cash to favorite candidates. I will always say this, George Washington may have been a decent, and by decent I mean kind of dog shit general, and a dog shit human being, because he owned slaves and all this other bullshit. Politically, he did say one good thing. A two-party system, like these political parties, is ass. Breaking down the political parties is ass. Whether he saw that these political parties were always going to keep themselves at 2, I don't know, but it's ass. You either go with the motherfuckers who, you know, walk around with shiny shoes and spit at you, just not on you, or you go with the motherfuckers who walk around with shiny shoes and spit on you. They're both spitting at you. One just missed. Like, I don't... A recent email from Our Revolution did seem to recognize the center's enormous rallies are potential organizing opportunities, promising to mobilize communities to challenge Trump's regressive policies and demand that the Democratic Party embrace bold economic populism. Which, literally, the craziest thing is bold economic populism is just more taxes on the wealthy. We can't even get to that. We can't. There's the old video of, I can't remember the guy's name. He's the rich guy, whatever. If I remember, I'll put his picture on the screen. But there's the old video of him stating how he pays the same tax rate as his secretary, but he makes like 50 times her. He might say, yeah, well, that sounds fair. And it's like, no, 10% of 50 billion is nothing compared to 10% of 100,000. That's the current economic state that we're at, where the rich pay the same fucking tax rate as somebody making like $50,000 a year. And like I said, people think that's fair, but it's like, listen to what the tax rate is saying, because the lower and lower you go in this country, the higher and higher the tax rate is. So it's like, it's stupid. I think Democrats do need to use these rallies to organize and bring in new members to a sort of new party. And I think democratic socialists within the Democratic Party, who basically just have to placate the Democrats to hold some semblance of a voice in the room, need to start using them to build the base for a new party. These rallies, not just Bernie Sanders, not just AOC, but all the other progressives. You know, they need to go out and do this. The Jasmine Crockett's, the Ilhan Omars, so forth and so on. They need to go out and start building together a coalition to form a new party, because Democrats aren't going to do it. Like, a 25-hour fucking filibuster means jack shit, other than Cory Booker had 25 hours to waste talking to the most immoral motherfuckers on planet Earth. Like, that means nothing to me. I'm sorry.
Son of a bitch!
Cool, you did it. Maybe you inspire one or two other politicians to do something similar, but at the end of the day, you're talking to the motherfuckers who aren't going to give a fuck what you say. So this is from indivisible.org, these people. And if you have a Republican member of Congress, this is something I just kind of wanted to go over. Like, kind of what I'm talking about is, Republicans, they've obviously backed away from the town hall thing, right? Because they saw how bad it went. But people act like that's the only time you can fucking annoy the shit out of your congressman. I'm not saying do as people did with, I think it was Tom Tillis or whatever, here in North Carolina, where they were calling and doing death threats. Which, that was hilarious. I might do a video just listening to this shit was hilarious. I'm not saying do that. I'm saying simply let them know that you are pissed the fuck off. Let them know that you don't agree with things that are happening. Let them know all the shit. Spam the fuck out of them. Okay? Spam them. Call them every fucking day if you can. Takes 5 seconds to fucking call. I know we're all afraid of calling people and we love to text, but just call these people and get on their damn nerves. Every single Republican needs to feel the heat. If they vote for the Trump tax scan, so this is after or during the recent stuff with Chuck Schumer and whatever giving up and everything. If they keep looking the other way as Trump and must seize power, they will pay the price, period. Yeah, hold them accountable. Moral culpability. Make them answer for their betrayal. Call them out in public, at town halls. Obviously, we say we can't do it anymore. In their district offices. If you got a group of people with you that feel the same way with you about not wanting Elon to do something, or not wanting these tax cuts or cuts to these benefits, get together some people and stand on a public sidewalk and protest out these motherfuckers' offices. You don't even need posters and shit. You have a voice. Use it. Call their phone lines. Demand to know why they are slashing Medicaid and SNAP. And if they say something that just sounds stupid, or obviously it's bullshit, they're giving you the legal runaround, then you call them out on it, and then you fucking hang up on them before they can even respond. Force them to take a stance. Yeah, put them on record. Tell them, if you're a Republican and you have gotten to the position where you said, okay, I can't play along with this shit anymore. Okay, I'm not saying that you have to go out and register your ass as a Democrat. I wouldn't wish such a fucking fate on my worst enemies. Okay, but what I am saying is, you could tell your senators, you could tell your congressmen, you could tell Trump, you could tell all of them. Okay, well, you know what? Since you fucked me sideways, even though I thought you weren't going to. Come next election, you could suck my dick. I'd rather fucking bubble in a blue-haired SJW.
Gay!
Alright, I'm making it conservative up for you. I'm serving that shit up. You tell them, you know what? I'm gonna vote for a woke fuck. You say that. Say next election, you aren't gonna get an ounce of my money. You aren't gonna get my vote. You aren't even gonna get a fucking Facebook post from me. Say shit like that. It'll scare the shit out of them. It will. Because there's only a certain point at which you could, claim shit was rigged or do rigging yourself through gerrymandering. There is a certain point at which it no longer works. Okay? There just is. Make sure voters never forget. Remember that video that one lady was talking about, like, you voted along the same lines as the KKK? Yeah, remind people of that shit. People say, it'd be a shame if Democrats get the same treatment. And it's like, motherfucker, Democrats are rarely ever coming into any Republican-ass establishment, okay? And we don't walk around with stupid-ass fucking identifiers on our head, okay? You guys are the one walking around with the fucking red hat talking about Make America Great Again. Show up online and in person. Yeah, just avoid Twitter, because it's a fucking nest fest of fucking neo-Nazi incels. Sorry for that line of cussing, not really, but fuck Nazis. So yeah, I just think that the 25-hour marathon talk was cool. Whatever. You did your thing. Bald Kings win for the day. I don't, do more. Get involved. Go around the country. Give people the contact information for the office of their congressman. When you go to these rallies and say, hey, I heard this is happening from this senator or whatever, they came to a rally. I want to know, are you actually voting for this? Are you supporting this? It doesn't take anything for you to fucking ask. Half of you MAGA people are fucking, you got a lot of spare fucking time in your hands. Because, Jesus Christ, you guys are going to Trump rallies fucking 4 years before the fucking election. Get out there and fucking demand to know the answers to this shit. Don't just sit there and say, well, this happened to me, and make a post on Facebook about it or whatever, or talk to a news station and then just let that be it. We got to get out. We've got to mobilize. We've got to inform people. This is my way of trying to inform people. I've been having Republicans comment on shit and everything. One of the tags I always put in my political videos is MAGA and Republican, or Donald Trump's name, or whatever, or some prominent Republican, because I do want Republicans to also see this, to also understand the other side. And I don't mean the Democratic side, okay? Because that's basically if there was a fucking family tree, Republicans would be like the older brother, Democrats are the younger brother, socialists were more like the cool fucking cousin that you only see at Thanksgiving, that you get tired of after maybe 2 hours because you find it weird that we think people should live in a fair society. I don't know. So what do you think? Do you think Cory Booker did enough with his 25-hour marathon? Do you think that Democrats are going to do more? Or is this just a simple, hey, we hear you. We hear your fury. We voiced it to the people we know don't give a shit. Let me know down in the comments down below. And don't forget to be respectful down there. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate you guys. Let's get this channel to 1,000. I sure hope that the Democrats do not do another fucking bullshit filibuster in that time period, unless it's actually challenging something rather than just talking about shit that's already happened, which is what this was, by the way. It was about the Doge cuts. This stuff already happened. They didn't challenge it when they had the chance. Jesus. But who are we kidding? Until we get a entirely new leftist party, this is going to be the status quo. And I am so genuinely concerned.